Welcome to the webinar today. I'm so glad you were able to make it. My name is Annie Rudin, and we will be talking about some common mistakes in English pronunciation and fluency. So are you making these 9 common mistakes? I want you to really think about it as we go through these 9 very, very common mistakes in English pronunciation. I want you to think about your own speech and really think about, okay, am I making these errors? If so, what do I need to do to correct them? And we'll go over certain strategies and I'll direct you how to do that. So I want you to really pay attention and think, okay, in my own speech, what am I doing? I think this webinar will be very enlightening to you to look at English pronunciation and fluency in a new light and to kind of think inward and think, okay, what exactly am I doing? And is it affecting the way others are understanding me? And if so, what am I going to do about it? We give you strategies, I give you help, but you have to be the one to decide to take control and to follow through with the assignments and do what's required. So I want you to really, really take this seriously. And one thing I want you to make sure you do right now is there are so many distractions we have in life. And right now I want you to take a moment and silence your phones, turn off email, turn off everything that could distract you from giving me your 100% focus right now. Because I truly believe that if we can concentrate and if you can really focus during this time, that you will be able to discover things about your English fluency and identify ways that you can improve that will make you more successful in your life. Because communication is key. It's a very essential skill set that we need to be working on and developing. And especially if English is not your first language, you need to make sure that you are being as effective at English as possible. That whatever your life situation is or your work situation, you will find more success when you work on your communication skills. And that's for non-native English speakers and native English speakers. But especially if English is not your first language, this is an area that you have to concentrate on. All right, so before we get started on these 9 common mistakes, I want to introduce myself here if we haven't met already. My name is Annie Rudin, and I am a speech-language pathologist. And here in this picture, I'm holding my new little baby boy. I have 3 boys. You can see one of them in the corner there. He doesn't look so happy in that picture, but I have 3 little boys, and this latest little joy in our life was born in the beginning of this summer, and we've been enjoying this little guy. But just to let you know, I am nationally certified as a speech-language pathologist and have spent several years focused on American accent training and have developed this program because I knew that I had been practicing a very effective way of teaching American English, and I wanted to make it as easy as possible for all of you to be able to access this. I know our lives are busy, and it's hard. For a long time, I was doing live trainings, but I was finding that became increasingly more difficult for people as people get busy in their professions and things to take time and schedule time for these one-on-one live trainings. And so I've developed this program that allows you to watch videos in your own time, so it can be late at night or whenever you happen to have time. Watch the videos and then are able to, and I'll talk a little bit more about how you can get feedback from me and other trainers. So let's, first of all, I just have to share this cute little picture we took this summer of my little boys. So that's Andrew is my oldest, Jimmy is my middle one, and there's Luke is my new little one. And they keep us busy, but we love it. And I can't help but show a little picture of Luke here. All right, so first of all, let's talk about, I have a couple of things I want to mention before we get started with the webinar. First of all, with these webinars, I know that with you being here during this webinar that you know how to register for these live webinars, but I'm recording this and I want to make sure that other students who come across this recording know what they need to do. And I want to talk about how you can watch recorded webinars. So every webinar that I do one a month right now, and that as time goes on, I might do them more frequently depending on the need. And these live webinars, what we need to do, and I'm going to come out of full screen mode and show you here. So I'm logged in as a student here. So this is what your account looks like if you're a member of Pronunciation Pro. And this tab across the top, first we have the program, so that's where you get your 12-week program and all the videos and materials that are involved with the program. Your profile page has certain announcements that we have for you, and there's some bonus lessons, but the one I want to talk about is the webinar. So this is the webinar page. And so right here, I will always advertise what the next webinar will be. So this is the webinar for today. And if you click on this orange button here, you can register for whatever webinar is coming up. So you click on that, you enter your name, your email address, and then you're set up to be able to be notified by GoToWebinars to attend the webinar. So if you are not able to make it to the webinars live, then I want to make sure that you know that we record all of these webinars, and so all of my past webinars are listed here. So right now, you know that this video is for the last webinar that I did, but each one of these links is a separate video. And webinars range from 40 minutes to an hour. And there's a lot of good information that supplements the program that you're already going through. So as you're going through the 12-week course, these webinars are in addition to that. Great. So when you come live, it's great because you get to answer questions at the end, or you get to ask questions at the end, and I'll answer them specific for you. And but if you just want to watch these webinars and get the information, then it's here. One that I want to highlight today, and I'll be talking about today, is this Rules of Long and Short English Vowels. Okay, I'll be referencing this webinar or this webinar video today as we go along. So just wanted to make sure that you knew that those resources are there. It's several hours of content that can be supplemented to you already have the 12-week program that includes 35 plus hours of training. But there's some more for you. All right, so let's get back into, so that's the webinars. One thing that I want to talk about real quick is it's been great because I've been getting more Plus package members. And what that means is that I get to work with you when you purchase the Plus package. So I think everybody who signed up for the webinar today is a basic member. So you get access to for $19.97 a month, you get access to my program, the 12-week program, and all the videos and materials and the website and all these supplemental materials. But when you upgrade to the Plus package, what that does for you is it allows me to work with you personally. So think of it as you buy a gym membership, and that's kind of the basic membership. Is you buy the gym membership, you can go and use the equipment, and it's very effective when you go and you're consistently attending, going to the gym and working out and using those materials. But it can be even more effective if you have a personal trainer, right? So somebody that you are accountable to, somebody that is there to tell you personally what you need to do to improve. So that's kind of how the Plus package is organized. It's a great way if you're having a hard time kind of getting through, kind of staying consistent with the 12-week program. I would encourage you to take a look at the Plus package. because it is very effective to have me help you personally. And what this includes, what the Plus package includes, is a full accent assessment at the beginning. So what this does, it's about a 4 or 5 page report that I give you. I analyze you send in a recording of you completing this evaluation, and you read words, sentences, paragraphs, you speak in conversation, and I listen to that recording and I analyze it and I identify what it is you specifically need to work on during the course. And what this does, it just gives you an idea of like, okay, here, I struggle with these sounds. I need to work on these specifically. So as you're going through the 12-week course, you know, okay, this is an area, as I'm working on the R videos, this is an area that I know is a problem for me, so I need to really pay attention to this and make sure I'm doing it correctly. Okay, so that's the full accent assessment. So that gets you started with the program. Excuse me. And then what happens is every week of the 12 weeks, you get feedback on every one of the 12 assignments. So you'll have assignments after every week. You'll watch the videos for that week, and then you'll submit an assignment and a recorded assignment. I'll listen to it, I'll analyze it, and I'll send you a recording of my feedback of what you did right, what you did wrong, how to improve, what to work on specifically. So that happens every single week through the 12-week program. So this program is to upgrade to the Plus package. It's $497. If you have a PayPal account, it can be broken up into 6 payments. If you're interested in a 3-payment plan, if you don't have PayPal and don't want to mess with that, I can do a 3-month payment. You just have to contact me. So that's the Plus package, and I encourage you to take a look at it, because I've just been so excited about how effective it is and what the progress that my students are making with that package. They love it. They feel very confident by the time they get through with it, because they know exactly what that they're improving, and they're doing a great job. All right, so let's get into these 9 common mistakes for English fluency, pronunciation and fluency. Okay, so the first one is the English TH sound. So a common mispronunciation of this, or this is usually mispronounced, and instead of the English TH sound, what I hear a lot of times is people using the D sound instead of the TH, the T instead of TH, F or Z. And a lot of this depends on where you're from, what your first language is. A lot of it depends on the fact that maybe you don't hear the difference between a TH sound and some of these other sounds. Maybe they sound the same to you. And one thing that I found is that through the videos, and week 2 has the videos for the TH sound. So it's right at the beginning of the program, we talk about this TH sound because it is the most difficult sound to correct. It takes a little bit to hear the difference, and that's what we do in the videos, is we talk about, okay, here's what it's supposed to be, here's what is the common mispronunciation, and we do a sound quiz at the beginning, and make sure that you hear the difference so that then you can know how to pronounce it differently. And we talk about where the mouth should be. So really, I have this picture here because really at the beginning, it sounds like your tongue's out there. It's very awkward. It's not very comfortable for you. It's not natural. And at first, it does feel very unnatural and very uncomfortable. But the more you practice it, the more comfortable it feels and the more natural it will sound. So to produce this sound, your tongue comes in between your 2 front teeth, and the versus the T or D. When you say it with a T or D, your tongue is behind your teeth. So this one, your tongue is in the middle of your front teeth, and it sticks out a little bit. Okay, so This is a very common sound in English. It's the most common consonant sound in English. So when you're not doing this sound correctly, native English speakers notice, and it can cause a lot of problems. So addressing this at the beginning and making sure that you practice this sound as much as is needed is important. All right, so that's the week 2 of videos. And what I find is the students that I'm working with, it's very awkward at the beginning when they start practicing it, but every single time I'll ask them by the end of the program, I'll ask them, so does the TH sound feel comfortable to you? And I know it does because I can hear that they're using it naturally in conversation. And every time they're like, oh, I haven't even thought about it in a while. It just happens naturally now. And I'm so glad for that, because this can be a very big problem for non-native English speakers. All right, so second most common mistake, word stress. So what happens with word stress is, in English, every word in English has one syllable that is stressed more than others. And a common mistake is just stressing the wrong syllable. So in a word like photography, you might be pronouncing as photography. So instead of stressing the second syllable, photography, you might be stressing the third syllable, photography. Okay, do you hear the difference there? And in some words, it's not as big of a deal, but in other words, it can completely change the way it sounds. And it can make it very difficult for your listeners to understand what word you're saying. You might be saying all the sounds correctly, but if the stress is wrong, you are going to have some misunderstandings. So this is week 3 video, goes through every single aspect of this word stress. So you learn all of the rules, you learn what a syllable is, how to identify a syllable, and all the rules that go along with which word to stress. So in this webinar, I just want to go over one of those rules, and this is for 2-syllable words. So for 2-syllable words, when it's a noun, the first syllable is usually stressed. So in 2-syllable words, when it's a noun, the first syllable needs to be stressed. So words like hamburger, teacher, let's see, swing set. All of these things are nouns. Okay, so that first syllable, nouns with 2-syllable words, the first syllable gets the stress. In 2-syllable words, if it's a verb, then the second syllable will get the stress. So this is like begin. Let's see, I have some examples here. Appear, improve, prepare. Okay, so all of those are verbs. Appear. Do you hear how that second syllable is being stressed? Improve, prepare. Okay, so those are verbs that are 2-syllable words, second syllable stress. And then bathtub and teacher, like I was saying before, are nouns, and so that first syllable will be stressed. So remember that rule. And kind of pay attention to those 2-syllable words. Here are some more examples of just word stress in general. So these are more than 2-syllable words, but I want you to pay attention to the stress pattern here and see if you can hear where the stress is. So celebrated, celebrated, finance, finance, yesterday, yesterday, translated, translated. So these are actually words that, as I was going through some assessments that I was analyzing this week, these were some words that commonly were mispronounced because of the word stress. So take a look think about it, pay attention to other native speakers and see if you can identify where they're stressing words, and go through that week 3 video on word stress and make sure that you understand that concept. All right, so a Common mistake number 3, short and long vowels. So here is a very common error. So we have those short and long vowels in English. And one common, very, very common error is the short I and the long E. So very often these two are switched. So instead of saying the short I, a lot of times I'm hearing the long E. So for example, a word like this, I, has the short I sound. But instead of saying this, I hear these. You hear that long E sound? So it sounds like these. So this, these. Another example is ease. So this is my friend. I hear that a lot. This ease instead of this is. With versus weeth. I know weeth isn't a word, but I hear that confusion there. Instead of with, I hear weeth. And sometimes I hear, a long E instead of a short I. When it's supposed to be a long E, I hear a short I. But more often, it's supposed to be a short I, and I hear a long E. Okay, so here's where those webinars come into play. I did a full webinar on those long and short vowels. We go over all of the rules of long and short vowels, and I kind of reinforce what we talk about during the 12-week program. Because in the 12-week program, the video program, you go through every single one of the English vowel sounds, so that you concentrate on a vowel sound and make sure you're saying it correctly. You know where your mouth is supposed to be and all of that. But the webinar kind of reinforces what you're learning through the 12-week program and helps you kind of get exposure to that long and short vowel rules again. All right, common mistake number 4, speaking too quickly. And this is one of those very, very common, it's a basic rule, but it honestly is the most important rule of English pronunciation and fluency. It is what starts everything off. So when you are able to slow down and kind of concentrate, it allows your mouth, gives time for your mind to catch up with your mouth. So your mouth has to make all these different movements, and as you go through the program, you'll learn where your mouth's supposed to be and what it's supposed to sound like. But if you're going too fast, if you're speaking too quickly, then your mind will not be able to catch up, and you will not be able to remember to implement everything that you're learning in the program. So everything starts with slowing down. And even if you're not very far in the program yet, if you're just getting started, the key is, just slow down, and it'll make a drastic difference even from the beginning. Because even if you're saying it incorrectly, at least you're saying it slow enough so that your listener can make the correction in their head. So say you said these, they'll be able to make that correction in their head and say, okay, they're saying this is, and it won't cause them to stop and have to think about, okay, what is he saying, or what are they saying, and what are they meaning? Okay, slow down. All right, and this goes right along with it. A common mistake is your mouth stays very neutral and you're not moving your mouth enough. Okay, so a common mistake is your mouth is neutral, and when I say neutral, I mean it's not opening, it's not closing fully. It just stays in the same position, and you might be making little movements with your tongue and lips, but your mouth isn't moving a lot. And when you look at English speakers, you'll notice, especially English speakers that are very clear and easy to understand, notice how much their mouth moves. They are opening their mouth. It's projected very well because their mouth is moving and getting into those positions the way they need to. So you'll learn, you're learning through the program exactly where your mouth should be, but be conscious that you're moving your mouth enough. Again, this is a very basic rule, but it's very, very important. And you know, English just requires those big movements. It's just how English is structured. Okay, mistake number 6 is not stressing the important words in a sentence. So this is what I refer to in the program as sentence stress. I'm trying to think. I think it's in week, no, I don't say here. I think it's week 5, 4 or 5 in the program. But I actually have 2 different videos on sentence stress. And sentence stress is learning how to stress the most important words in the sentence so that your listener can understand you very clearly as to what is most important for them to hear. So a common mistake is where every word gets the same amount of stress. And stress, I mean emphasizing. When you stress a word, it's longer, louder, it has a higher pitch, and it has that longer vowel sound. So every word, we want to make sure that the most important words get the emphasis. And these words are called content words. So words such as nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs are considered these content words. And these tend to be the words that you need to stress or emphasize in a sentence. So things, for example, let me think of an example. I didn't write down an example here, but I need you to pick up, let's see, I need you to pick up milk at the store. I need you to pick up milk at the store. I need you to pick up some milk at the store. Need, pick, milk, store. So if you just heard me say, if you're listening to someone and the only words that you could really make out were need, pick, milk, store, would you understand what they were trying to communicate? Yes, you'd be able to fill in kind of those extra words. So making sure that you emphasize those important words and you're stressing them, meaning you're getting that nice, clear pronunciation on them, will help your listener truly understand exactly what you're saying. Okay, common mistake number 7, the English R. Very often, and this has to do with your native language, is that I hear a rolled or trilled R. So words like ring, ring, where your tongue is coming up, ring, ring, or Robert, Robert, where your tongue tip is coming up and touching the roof of your mouth. Now this picture down below is talking about the L and the R, but I liked it because it shows that the L, you know, your tongue is touching the roof of your mouth there, kind of back behind your front teeth for the L, but the R, do you see where the tongue is for your R? It's bunched up, the middle of your tongue is kind of bunched up in the back of your throat, and that's how the R is produced. And during the program, there's, I think it's week 4, you go over, 3 or 4, you go over all the R, you go over the R sound, and I have 3 different videos for the R's because there are initial R, R vowels, and so initial R, R vowels, and R blends. So there are 3 different positions that these R's can be in, and we want to make sure that you're getting that pronunciation for all 3 R's. So it's that bunching up in the back of your throat and keeping that tongue tip down so that it's not rolled, but it's roll, you know, you're not rolling it, but you're getting that strong English R sound. All right, common mistake number 8. You are just not speaking loud enough, okay? Reducing your volume. This is a common mistake, is reducing your volume so that no one hears your pronunciation mistakes. And so I hear this from my students that they, you know, when they're being honest with themselves, it's that they usually talk when they're not confident, and this is very natural, when you're not confident in your pronunciation and fluency, you don't necessarily want to get up in front of everybody and start speaking very, loud and be very outgoing. And I understand that. But by reducing your volume, you think maybe that no one will hear your pronunciation mistakes, or you'll be able to kind of fudge them a little bit. But really it does the opposite. It just makes it even that much harder for your listener to understand you. So go ahead and turn up that volume when you're speaking to someone. Even if you're not able to say, you know that the pronunciation is wrong, say it loud enough so that at least your listener can make the correction in their head. Because if that's the only word that they're not able to understand contextually with whatever else you're saying, they'll be able to identify what you're talking about and make that correction in their head. Okay, so just speak up, give that your voice a little bit more volume. Okay, common mistake number 9. Here's the last one. This has to do with word endings. Okay, so the word endings means the last sound in words, and a common mistake is dropping the ends of words. So like a word like dog, I'm hearing, instead of dog with a G sound at the end, I'm hearing da. Or bad, instead of bad, I'm hearing bad, ba. And not getting that final sound in there. And this happens so often, and I think it's a combination of speaking too quickly and kind of just not understanding that the importance of every sound in the word. So what you need to do with this is, finishing the words, making sure you're getting those ending sounds of words, and learning to link words together. Because we do not talk like this, so that we can get the ending words, ending sounds in. So that's not how I want you to talk. But when you learn how to link words together appropriately, you're making sure that you get the ending sounds and then transitioning it into the next word. And there are very specific rules that go along with linking, and that's in the week 6 videos of the program. This is at Pronunciation Pro, and obviously, those who are in attendance of this webinar are members of the program. So week 6 of that is going over linking. And all of these common mistakes are areas and skill sets that are addressed during the 12-week program. So if you're thinking, oh wow, I'm making maybe 5 of the 9 common mistakes, don't be overwhelmed. Just go through the program week by week, build on what you have worked on from the previous weeks, follow through with the homework that I give you, and kind of that instruction that I give you in the videos. Make sure you're practicing every day, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes of reading out loud and focusing on the skill sets that you're practicing in that week's video. Even if it's just that little bit a day, every day of focused practice, it will make a difference, and you will be able to see improvement. And if you're unsure about that and want to work together through the course, then like I said at the beginning, we have the Plus program that allows me to listen to your assignments, give you feedback week by week, and make sure that you are making the corrections that you need to. All right, so it's time for questions. I'm going to go ahead and give you a few minutes to see if you have any questions for me. But if you have to get going before and can't stick around for the questions, then thank you so much for attending this webinar today. I hope it helped. And as always, as a member of Pronunciation Pro, you are free to email me questions and ask about things. If you have any questions just let me know, and I will do my best to answer them and to give you as much instruction and direction as possible. So thank you for coming, and I'll wait a few minutes for questions. If you want to write a question down in the question box, go ahead and do that. Or if you want to ask it live here, then I can take your microphone off of mute and you can ask me. I'll give you a few minutes.